But I think it's important that architects are warned as soon as possible that 90% of their jobs are at risk. If you haven't really realized it, you should be taking measures right now as soon as possible. The reasons are quite simple. Basically, architecture is one of those fields of work in which it takes 2 to 3 years to develop a single project. Unless you're from an extremely wealthy family and you're very fortunate to have immediately landed the construction of the family getaway retreat where you can do whatever crazy project you wanted and acquire a certain degree of experience plus build some sort of a portfolio, chances are you'll be struggling to find the client who is willing to trust you with their most important investment in life. An investment that is highly tied not only to the intellectual, financial, and cultural requirements, but also all of the sentimental ones. Now, all of that we know, any architect knows. The one thing we never think about is that with technology and the speed at which machine learning is developing, experience is an enormous component that you cannot fight against, right? And when you happen to be in the type of project, the type of field in which experience requires 2 to 3 years, it's almost impossible for you to compete with any kind of machine that can immediately have 10x, 50x, 100x, 1000x, a million x your experience. Now, you would tend to want to think, but Sebastian, I can make the most creative house. No one else would be able to make the artistry of a vision that I have for that particular location or that particular family. The thing is, we're not that special, and chances are your creative output isn't that incredible either. The reality is that we already have enormous quantities of data, enormous quantities of blueprints and models of hundreds of thousands and millions of houses that have already been developed. Why do I need a new one? Why do I need a new one if more or less they tend to be the same and can be packaged in very similar systems? Why shouldn't I just go into an app, choose what kind of household I want, how many people are going to live in it, what's my budget, what's the location, do I want it to be eco-friendly or do I want it to have a focus somewhere else, have an enormous quantity of projects immediately pop up, be able to, in a digital screen, move the distribution around, be able to see it in augmented reality, check how all my furniture fits inside, and then simply approve the one that is within my budget. The app will immediately tell me, Sebastian, we've located Ross & Brothers. They're in your area. They're constructors and they have 4.7 reviews on their stars for building similar constructions to this one before. You should hire them. And I'll be like, sure. Why not? And would you like to take this famous house that is almost identical to yours for just a 2% royalty? Sure. Why do I need someone who's never built a home before or who's only built 10 or 20 to try and come up with a new original combination of the same set of requirements for a relatively similar area? Architecture as an artistic practice is the only one that will survive, and it will be developed by a tiny elite. We're talking 5%, 1% of architects max. The rest, they're done, they're doomed, they're gone. Finito. This is the end. Muerte. What can you do? Well, architects are pretty smart people with incredibly advanced spatial intelligence and the ability to understand systems. Go after the same systems that took your job. Go into tech. Understand that those same spatial capabilities can be used in more abstract ways to be able to coordinate giant systems and develop and design the systems of tomorrow at a digital level, working with other types of engineers, not the ones who will pour cement, but the ones who will write code. Please make the switch now. Don't lose your job.